everybody. How is everyone
Welcome,
doing?
welcome.
We are here with a
How
little
are you
Saturday
doing today,
morning
E?
check-in. I'm here. My allergies are trying to take me out, but I'm here. How about you?
I'm here. I have a growling baby on my lap who has been abused, who I wanted to introduce to everybody right off the bat, honestly, because over at the channel that I started called The Gray Zone with Vanessa, we have two channels going now. We have Elysia and Mai's creation from day one, our launching project of love and reconnection. And then we have my project, which is just me rambling about whatever. So I'm going to be putting a very, very special person in my life on camera, probably as a 24-hour stream till I get monetized. And this person is not a person, it's a dog named Elvis Presley, the Chihuahua. And he has been abused very, very badly. We got a call from Tulare Animal Control saying, hey, you guys take all the hard cases. We take a lot of dumped. Sorry, my Zumba seems to want to clean right now. We tend to take a lot of dumped dogs from northern central California. There's a lot of shepherds that get dumped off there from breeding and stuff. And I've had a lot of shepherd puppies through here. And, Lexi loves to mother her baby puppies. It's actually so sweet. She teaches them how to be a very good dog. And, but she's not always into feisty, tiny little things. And I was like...
And Elvis is just that.
Well, but in Rescue Lady talk, we called him Grumpy. Right?
So we have to code this stuff so that they stay alive, guys.
We might, yes. We might have to speak in code sometimes for the lives of our best little buddies.
Safety.
Good morning, everybody, by the way. We just jumped into this. Good morning, Alex, Witness, Cedar, Liz, our sister. So good to see you. Anata, I loved that artwork you sent. Thank you. Thank you guys for being with us on a Saturday morning. We're just excited to catch up. So we're talking. But Elvis totally... would have been put down right away because he bites like no dog I've ever met. Ever. In my 12 years of fostering, I've never had a tiny 3.5-pound dog chase me into my bathroom for making eye contact with him. Like teeth out.
He thought you were trying to size him up.
He's drawn blood so that I knew he wasn't playing. Like he is to that point. And sometimes in rescue, it's actually sad because the big dogs who have that problem, they are put down first. And it's not their fault. It's because they were taught to protect themselves, right? So they are always the first to go. And my rescue partner, I was really at the end of my rope because this dog was not only bad attitude, I'm trying to work on trust, but he was also sick. He had cancer because he had been on the street for
Maybe
honestly, we have no idea. Yeah, he's not his whole life. I think somebody loved him, but somebody abused him because when he gets picked up, he really hates it. It's any kind of domination. And I've gone very, very slow. Lexi was the same. She did not like to cuddle. She did not even like to be held because it was like a domination. She thought she couldn't get out in case someone hurt her, right? Yeah. So Elvis is over here. Yeah, there's no exit. I gotta go, right? And so Lexi took about a year, but now she's my cuddle girl, which I love to see. That's why I like when I see Elvis now on his back, I'm like, you feel comfort.
That's
like,
huge.
That's
such
heart
a big
and
step.
Soul.
That's
and
him trusting
proud.
you.
Yeah, but it's taken. Oh my gosh, how long has it been? Like 7 months? Like
7 months, right? Because you had him right before we started talking, right?
Shoot. You know what? It's been longer. I think I had him since December or something. Like, honestly, it's October right now. It has been so long. And this dog
10 months? 10 months?
Yeah, this dog will still growl at me if I, linger a little too long with the eye contact. It's like his brain is programmed. And his vet, I was trying to explain it to his vet. Yeah, his vet was like, no, something's wrong with him. And I was like, yeah, what's wrong with him is that his brain is firing. Yeah, from trauma. And he just literally wants love so bad that his tail wags while he's growling and kissing me. It's just like a new thing for him. And patience and consistency was my key. But what I decided, because he's honestly incredible. He had his leg broken. He had to have, I think somebody threw him because he really hates being held.
Yeah.
If I hold him at all, he just really doesn't like it, and we work on that. And Liz's
Yeah.
wife helps me work on that, actually. One day I heard like, "Wow, wow, 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 wow," and I didn't know what was going on. And it was what I do. It's called a forced love session with my foster dogs. And you're like, I don't care. I don't care. Just, I love you. And then they like give up. Right?
We're loving them through it.
So
We're working
much,
through it with them.
and
Yeah.
it has to be the person who they're like, okay, I like you. Like they choose to sit
Semi-comfortable.
next to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Elvis is like just the most incredible example of resilience. And also, we're talking about resilience. That is in Bob Ferris Part 2, which is going to be coming out on our channel here, Degraded Daughters of Dianetics. We're still looking to get Bob Ferris reunited with his child. At least get some eyes on him. Why not?
Yeah.
This is America. You should not be able to have any kind of control over someone's ability to see their family. That's really disturbing and deeply upsetting to a lot of people. So we're gonna keep on keeping on and get Bob Ferris going. But we have a Part 2 coming out on this channel soon. You know,
So stay tuned. Stay
tuned.
I know we're always happy when we can have someone get their family members back, their parents, their siblings, their cousins, their whatevers. Which has been really sweet to see. Some people that get theirs out, like I really have been loving this story that Mike Brown got his mom out, Rosemary, the sweet lady who's just the kindest, right?
Yeah.
And it makes me so sad because it's like these people should be living their life. They should be enjoying like their kids, their grandkids, their retirement, not, sharing a room with 10, 12 other people and not getting cared for. Like that makes me so sad. It's deeply troubling that this is so it's happening, right in our backyards and for us literally in our backyard. And this is where we grew up, and our parents chose this thinking it was a good thing. And as we have deprogrammed and done the deep dives and learned and done the soul searching, it's not really always fun. Let's be honest. It's really not fun to pull apart your thoughts and everything that made you who you are. It's totally exhausting. Makes me want to growl like Elvis.
So I just thought a lot of our viewers might actually enjoy watching an Elvis cam to get my hours.
I think they would. I really think they would.
He's fascinating. He's really a little trippy guy. He's way too big for his britches, but
he's so little too.
No,
even pictures
so
they don't do him justice.
When you got here, right? You were like, what? You were like, he is so tiny. And this is a lot of buildup because I'm about to thank you, Liz. Liz said she's watching on my channel because I just added it to the stream because that's where my head's at right now. So we just started going live, but I'm literally trying to do hours and I'm not even adding my stream. What's wrong with me? There's a lot of build-up talking about my favorite dog because I'm going to show him on camera so that you guys understand what you will be tuning into. If you just need to like help a degraded daughter out and watch some hours so that we can get more presents for our foster dogs and things like that, then you guys are really, we ask for your help in doing that. I would love Elvis cam watchers. I'm going to try to set that up today and just have a little maybe playpen for him and make his little bed, and then people can just watch him because he's fascinating. He's a fascinating
and that's the cute to watch a cute little nugget who got a second chance because someone advocated and stood up and said, you know what, I'll take him.
And my rescue partner called and he was like, I was like, yo, this dog is more than grumpy, okay? Like, you can't pull one on me. Like, I know,
lied to me.
Him and I are such like the same brain in rescue. So I actually know when he's trying to lie to me, and when he says he's grumpy, I'm like, but this is a rescue partner who does not allow me to take biters. He's actually really practical, and I love him for that because he's been doing this so long. He just understands, and he said to me, Elvis is lucky because of his size, and that's it. And I was like, you are absolutely
He's lucky. Right. This is, again, a lucky thing for him to be little. And it is lucky because it's probably changed in his life and the fact that he got a second chance. And
Well, he looks
it's beautiful.
so absolutely cute between my legs. I'm kind of sad to pick him up because he's like Buddha-ing, but I do want to show
Oh,
everybody just a fierceness. So this is like a really good example of what happens when you've been abused and then your nervous system kicks in and you just try to protect yourself, right? Because this is the way some of our brains were formed from birth or since the first time we were abused. And then Elvis is a Chihuahua, so he's extra aggro,
he's
extra.
extra spicy.
He has the genetics to be a spicy little, something or other. But he also is so sweet and loves love more than anybody I've ever met. Like when he trusted me, he was like, "I love you." I like he bullies me into kisses now. It's really a bizarre thing. Okay, are you ready for this guy? And then he can go back to cuddling. Hi, baby. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Yeah, he did that.
He's fierce.
Look, he changed the vibe. Lexi got
He's
up.
fierce.
She barked.
He's fierce.
But then he went.
You hear him now? Now he's just doing a little bit of a purr.
But you know what he's doing? He's actually
He's letting. I would say he's yeah.
He's wagging his tail, and so that's why when he does this, it's okay, baby. I just kind of I just ignore him. And I don't react to him because I feel like people who tell him no,
it makes it worse.
It does. They're trying to teach him that's not good because that's basic dog training, but he's not a basic dog.
It's not. Yeah, it's not gonna work. So it's gonna be opposite for him.
Okay, cool. I'll never come back then. Thank you.
Yeah, leave me alone. Unless you've got treats, then put him on the floor and leave.
Yeah, but then instead of that, I just tell him good, and then he actually comes back. Like he used to run away, and he would sulk and be like, "I did something bad. I growled at my mommy, and I don't understand that because she gives me food." And then now he's
gotta kind of figure it out.
Stands there and looks at me like, "Is that okay?" I'm like, "It's okay, Babas." And then he comes back, but he does it less and less and less, right? He just really doesn't like being held. So I wanted to make an example of his psychosis.
This is an action guide. This is the active trauma, guys. Welcome.
Yeah. Hey, what happened with the story you were saying with the woman Rosemary? Or I didn't get a chance to watch that.
Super sweet. And her son, I think, did the first few videos because he helped get her out. She got sick and ended up in a hospital because, of course, they don't want people to pass away on base because then emergency services would have to come in to remove the body, and they don't want people going in to see how they live. So it's really sweet. She's been in, I think, 35 years, I think they said. And when she was sick, she disconnected from her son and all that because he left and lived his own life and had his own experience with Scientology. And then I guess they reached out because she was in the hospital. So that's when he came back in because that's really scary to know that your parent is just suddenly sick after you don't hear from them for years or decades. I'm not sure exactly how long it was. So it's a really sweet story in that he got her out, all the way out. So she was in a facility for a while recovering, and he snuck her a burner phone for when she got back in. He loaded up some podcasts so she can listen to the Leah and Mike podcast, every episode. Then she started watching Going Clear and the Aftermath series, just a lot of stuff that's very important for us to.
Lexi's turning on the Roomba while you're talking. I'm listening
to stories. You're good.
Lexi's still doing this.
Lexi's a cutie. We forgive her. She's so cute. My daughter's kind of obsessed with Lexi. So, Mom, can we get a big dog? No, we can't get anything else. We are way over full, bro. This is what happens when you foster. You love your own, and then you're like, I'll take this. I'm
gonna throw her outside. Would you mind continuing talking about what moved you on that story? Because I do want to tell you about something that happened this week that was burner phone style.
Ooh, absolutely.
1 second, I'm gonna get rid of this barking dog. And by get rid of her, I mean put her somewhere cozy.
Put her in another room. Yeah. Put her in where her big bed is so she can go and cozy up. She's a cute little dog. So cute. And then we see little Elvis. So yeah, I really have been enjoying listening to this story with Mike Brown. If you guys have listened, I'm sure you know how sweet and heartfelt it is to see a kid of Scientology get their parent back and out, and she was living there and was a Sea Org member for so long. And it just makes me so sad that people get in for such good reasons, thinking they're changing the world. And all they're doing is giving their own time and being really just labor for a corporation, an entity to exploit. And so it's really sweet that she's out and living her life and gets to see her grandkids and know them and who they are. And that's really beautiful. All these stories give us hope that we'll get others out, and maybe Liz's dad is next, we can hope, that'd be so amazing. So
Imagine
it's
all
just
the
a sweet
others.
story. I know. And that's what she said. She was in one room that had, I think, 12 people. And she was saying a lot of them have dementia, and she didn't even know what that was.
It was really, really sad. It was really, really, really sad for me to see that list that Erin read out of all the people in that home, because I knew quite a few of them, ones who had passed and ones who are still alive there. And listening to his list, and he read out the names.
Yeah, that was hard.
Oh my gosh, that's some of our friends on SPTV's parents, you guys. That's a lot of people who we know, and some of my parents' best friends, and people whose children are just like us, right? So it's just like how many, it can be overwhelming when we think of the large numbers. So we try to focus on the things that we can make a difference with, right?
Yeah. And we're showing up to advocate for those people who can't do it for themselves. So that's why we're here. That's why we started our channel, just to kind of be a voice and share our little tidbits here and there, and to hopefully encourage others to speak and to share their truths and their stories if they're ready to. Of course, that's the caveat, if and when you're ready and you're in a safe place to where you're not going to, lose a job and lose your entire family, and you can't take it because your mental health would just really decline.
I mean, honestly, no human being is actually built to take that.
Ever
it's a technology
really
made to crumble. It's like they use in any kind of rehabilitation state project, like they call rehabilitation, is made to, or federal or Nazi camp, if you will, to break people's will. Right? It's just like using torture, using all these things that you cannot do to human beings. Like we're human beings at the end of the day. We're spiritual beings. That's up to you to decide. But we're also human beings, right? So like human beings need essentials. One of them is
you
love.
need your basic needs met. Yeah. And not because, you don't, like, we growing up in this, a lot of people that I know got love, praise, and appreciation and acceptance for doing Scientology, because that was what was important to their parents, and maybe the only thing that was important to their parents. So to be seen as valuable, important, respectable, loved, a lot of people kind of dove in to get that, to see that. Unless you were like me and you're unless you were like a complete degraded baby like me, and you're just like, fuck all this shit.
Why are we here? We're the degraded daughters. We couldn't get on board. Honestly, we tried. I wished I could have taken the other pill. My life would have been so much easier. Honestly, if I could just act like my best friend who doesn't, one of my sisters who doesn't talk to me anymore. Yeah, if I could just be like her.
Just like, don't look at anything else. Don't look at anything else, right? Like,
dude,
just don't look,
I just can't.
Don't read this.
For that,
don't listen to this.
Almost, I mean, it's like you have to work through that self-hate to then, and the guilt, and I really disappointed everybody, and then you have to be like, wait, am I okay? Do I have strength? And like talk yourself into it, and then be like, if I can talk other people into it, maybe I can.
Make it a little degraded DB party over here, guys. Like, this,
the peer support, I think, is what is the thing. That's what I didn't even know was a career. Like, I didn't realize I could be a residential counselor at like a center and actually make a difference in people's lives. I didn't know that. Like, I grew up in a cult.
That would never be something that you would know about. What mental health is not talked about, right? When people have breaks, they just are like discarded.
It's talked about a lot, actually. It's just not
in a healthy way. Yeah.
It's like the
It's
absolute
demonized.
opposite of what it really is and what the people who are there should be there for. It's almost so similar to every time I read like something, some treatment for some disorder, because there are treatments. That's the thing. There's evidence-based, evidence-supported
Yeah.
treatments that have worked for people. So we don't, if they don't work, we don't use them. But if they work, we
Yeah.
use them. And hearing my professors be like, so if someone's suffering for this, you could try this, you could try this, you could try this. Some of them are like community support. Approval, right? If you've only gotten approval from doing Scientology or being a good Scientologist or performing in whatever way for whatever religion, your performance is what your approval for yourself is based off of, right? So like if there's other people out there who are going to sit with you and just say like, I swear to you, I've had a resident in the last few months who had homicidal tendencies that I was not afraid to sit with and talk with because they say
we're used to
huh?
We're used to that though too. So it's not as scary for us.
Homicidal tendencies?
Well,
how so?
I mean, I feel like in the environment in which we grew up in, usually we have more self-harming tendencies. But I mean, when people lose it, how they flip
well, it's
stuff.
anger. It's like so here's the deal. When we are taught to keep our tears in, how are we coping with anything, right? We're shoving it down.
We're not. You're pretending it doesn't exist. Yeah. Exactly.
100. We're putting a mask on and we're acting. So if we can get really, really, really good at that. Like I went between worlds and that became uncomfortable. I was like, this is Vanessa in the WOG world. I'll spell it because it wasn't a slur to us, but we understand it is now. Literally in that world, as my mother would say, there's like me chasing the dream of like the white picket fence, let's be happy. But really that's all an illusion to them, right? They're like, oh, you're chasing that dream, like
it's just not attainable.
We're playing a spiritual game over here, let us know when you want to join, right? So like to be going between the two, but know that the real world's actually like way more grounded,
welcoming,
even though it's
kind,
wild out there.
It is wild, but people are a lot. We have a lot that goes inside of us, right? We're made up of a lot of things.
And
when you understand
studying it, like
and when you understand it, it's not as scary.
Why would you listen to a science fiction writer, you guys? There were other child development theories that were incredible at the time. Like, get some Eric Erickson up in there. Right. Get some unconditional positive regard, maybe. Yeah. Like
maybe just some common sense. Even I would be just that, just a smidge. Like just looking at stuff, because I will say some of our friends and parents, they probably did see some of it, but they would just laugh about it. At least with my mom, I'm only going to speak about her because she's deceased. So what are they going to do to her? Like whatever, they can't harass her. So like, I know that she didn't abide by every single thing, but again, she did what a lot of older Scientologists do. I think that I've seen in her is that they just blame who's in charge now and think that Hubbard was just some great man. And I was like, Mom, he's a fucking weirdo, right? Like, look at his face. He just looks like a creep. And she thought that wasn't even funny. I'm like, doesn't he look like I don't know, looks like what nightmares are made of. And he is what our nightmares are made of, guys.
1,000,000%. I mean, that physically alone. But what trips me up is like, why won't they let go of that? There's evidence. There's so much evidence to the contrary.
Yeah. All you have to do is just debunk the things that he or Scientology says he did, which is funny because outside people
it's a whole
can look
at that.
And
that's why I'm fascinated with the topic. I was like, what could actually make your freaking human, like a human whose family, like we're animals, right? Like we have a genetic disposition to protect those we
are young.
Like, we're straight up, like at the end of the day, we're trying to survive. Yeah. So we're going to do things that like maybe our mental doesn't understand, but our bodies like, well, we're also humans. So we're going to chase this, or we're going to procreate, or we're going to like act in ways that we don't understand because we have PMS or like whatever, right? But that's what you and I have come to understand. And people on the inside are like, I control everything. I will just, think this thought away, and then they become afraid to discuss their own emotions because they think that the thoughts are going to put them into the universe. That is
And
so
they're
freaking
bad.
dangerous.
That's
So
very
dangerous.
dangerous.
That
That's literally
creates
setting people
rage.
up to have
Yeah.
mental health issues, like hardcore mental health issues. And that's really sad to me because, if you're supposed to help people and you're doing the exact opposite, and there's stuff that you can actually use to prove it, it's scary that people will still stay in and lose their life. Like, not lose necessarily, but also, yes, necessarily give their lives up, give their freedoms up, give their children up, give their friends, their family, like give the chance for any little dream. I don't care if it's insignificant. What if it's just like, I want to paint, I want to go and do blah, like I want to travel. Like, you can't.
Well, that's
really
almost the
do
catch
that,
22. If you want to be an artist, you do get supported, but the kicker on that one, because they do celebrity, right? They love art. Actually, there's a beautiful book about art and not judging art, and I do think that is part of why some of us are so creative, because for whatever reason, Elron
we had that freedom.
Worship the artists. He really encouraged people, right? So you were allowed to be an artist, but you had to be successful at it. Like,
and
there's
so they
no
pressured.
in between. Like, you can't, like, if you, like, okay, cool, do art, but like,
but you can't do it for fun,
your Scientology company,
right? And make your money and donate your money and donate your time and be on
so
course
you can
and
do more
this.
Scientology and all that, unless you're an artist like Danny Masterson or Leah Remini, and you can be on the cover of Celebrity Magazine. You're an opinion leader. You are now important. You have gained so much more approval. From your,
it's just using people, it's exploiting people for what they have that's good, which is something I really have disliked with Scientologists in general. It's like used car salesmen. It's just like, you like people because they can do something, be something, or give you something. You don't like them because they're a nice human. You like what you can get out of them. And I found that with so many Scientologists. They would say stuff like, I'm sure, Vanessa, you've heard this, you're so in theta. Like, they would like it if you were just... theta, but if you were in theta, it would not be good. But if you were theta, they would like it because you'd just be giving them and feeding their ego of, this is Scientology's good. Look, it's good. Look, she's so
but because
so
their ego needs to hear how
magical
magical they are, how lovely,
and how magical the thing that they've dedicated their life to is. Because then it reinforces their opinion and their thought that this is the right thing. This is the good thing.
Which, leads me to the next point, is that people always said to me in my family, Scientology is not the greatest, Vanessa, but you should have seen your mother before, which I completely find absurd, because they do not know her now. Like, at all. Like, they know the front, right? They know the family version. But to say that you're better now, I mean, come on, man. Like, you could have actually had an effective intervention or some empowerment or some counseling instead of deciding to dedicate your life to that whole nonsense and fall for it. But people want to be better. They want to have that fix. They want to be better humans than they were, and they will just listen to a guru or whoever because it works, right? But when you start to rattle that and you're like, wait, maybe that person didn't know all you thought. Like, maybe that... that was just kind of the importance.
Maybe none of us know all that stuff because no one knows everything. And that's the thing about human. Like, you don't know everything. And
that's the release of the control.
You can let it go. It's cool. Like, we're not perfect. We don't know everything. And you know what? In 5 years, if we listen to our stuff, we'll be like, oh my gosh, we should have said this, that, or the other. Because as we are growing, we're evolving and learning and seeing things and living through them and seeing what works and what doesn't work. And it is a beautiful thing to know that we don't know anything. Take that pressure off yourself.
Dude, the best phrase is, I don't know. Like, I swear to you, that's what people in Scientology just can't say because it's kind of embarrassing. So they'll just cling to, like, whatever truth it is that they have, because it's kind of embarrassing to say, like, I don't know. But you know who else says I don't know? Science. We always account for the unknown. There's always a variable ratio.
But we're also trying to prove it right or wrong, because it shouldn't be that it's just right or wrong. It should be that we keep learning.
Correct. And some of the best theories have come from actual hypotheses being proven wrong. So as a scientist, you're supposed to, not saying everybody does, nobody's perfect, not every board review, whatever. As a scientist, your thing, like a doctor, whatever, is like you make a hypothesis and then you let go of it and you decide to test it. And then you see if the results of your research that was blind studied, it had an A, it had a B, it had, all the proper channels in place to be able to see the length of time. You put all this together, but then at the end, you did not get what you thought you were going to get. And that is actually how the theory of cognitive dissonance came to be, is that they thought the more we do this, they're going to wake up. They're going to realize there's more facts. There's more facts. And no, they felt more attacked. They got further and further from reality.
Right. They got keyed in.
No, they just clung on to their truth. And then everybody else felt like an attacker. And that's hard because we're in that position with our family. We're the attackers now. And when I went down to the base, which is funny, I just call it the base, PAC base in Los Angeles, the blue buildings.
How was that? That seemed like
weeks, man. The same day that my friend's murder trial ended in a guilty on all charges, which is incredible. I mean, that was... at least that happened. That happened. If somebody's going to murder your friend. But that same day was a protest in LA. And I had heard about it earlier, and I was working, and Lara was like, I'm going to be down there until 2. So I finished work, and I was like, I'm just going to... I don't like driving down the streets and stuff, because why? Like, I've spent so much time there, and I have a lot of memories.
There's a lot of memories there,
There's like memories being a kid. There's good memories. There's bad memories. There's flashbacks. I don't want to think about it all the time. Like, I'm dealing with a lot. Like, maybe right now, that's not what I want to do in the middle of my day, right? So, like,
maybe not.
I thought, like, because I drive by it every day. And I thought that the actual, the people who were out there were going to be different. And what ended up happening was I saw somebody I knew. And then I thought, I'm going. Like, I was just going to drive by. And then she had me filming. She was filming. And she was like, it's Vanessa, the degraded daughters of Dianetics. And I look up, kid you not, I have this actual video where I look up, and it's Odo standing there, like, just talking on his walkie-talkie, just staring at me nonstop the second she said that for about a minute. I was like, this is so scary right now. So she already blew up my spot, so I might as well just come back. So I spent some time there, and I'm going to do a little video later on and talk about it. But it has to do with that, what is effective help? Because my concern is actually about the people inside who are being more scared of the protesters. I want to make
empowered.
Sure that, like how you were saying, Mike Brown's, is that was the name? The family, the sliding of the cell phones. Like, we actually have to be so creative. You have to have someone who's been there, who can talk about it and create a plan with you so that everybody ends up safe, right?
Safe. I was just going to say, because you have to be very safe when you're doing this.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, if you get caught, you're going to get in so much trouble. And I don't mean me, like, like the people in there that are already in bad positions and conditions to start with. So it is it can feel like you don't have any way to help sometimes.
Yeah, it's hard because we have the memory of being inside and, like, seeing those Lisa McPherson signs, and I was straight like, who are those SPs?
Oh my gosh, isn't that
them.
Were you?
I was afraid of them.
I liked them. When I moved to Clearwater, we drove by when Anonymous was protesting.
You liked them, you sick
I
girl.
did. I'm a sicko. My mom was driving, and we drove right past some of the Anonymous people protesting right in front of, like, the flag building, and I was like, I kind of was like looking out because I was in the back seat and I was looking out the window and I'm like, and it was like Scientology kills, Scientology rips apart its
Yeah.
family. And
Yeah.
I was like 17 probably because it was like 2003.
It was
I want
probably
to
the
say
Lisa McPherson Trust days because they were right in
it may have
Clearwater.
been. It may
Yeah.
have been, but it
They're
was definitely
closed,
the
unfortunately,
anonymous
but
with the masks on and everything.
yeah.
And I thought, oh, that's so smart because then they won't be harassed afterwards as much. Like, so that when that popped off, that was really like exhilarating for me as a 17-year-old who always hated Scientology.
Yeah.
I despised it growing up.
Did you get out of the car and just like grab a
No. My
sign?
mom was just driving by, but like it was funny because like you could tell she was like a little bit like, what is going? Like she didn't say anything,
Yeah.
but her like she looked a little bit kind of tense, because to our parents they're used to saying, "Oh my gosh, these people are just, they're just bad people. Like don't look at them, don't listen."
Do you remember them outside of the shrine? I remember like that was scary for me.
That
Like
was
outside
nuts.
of the
We were
shrine.
little. We were a lot
Yeah.
younger, I think then. That was like what,
Mhm.
90s?
Yeah.
Like mid
Oops.
late 90s.
I seem to be frozen over here. Can you hear me still?
I can hear you. But
Okay,
yes, you
yeah.
are frozen.
I made a little funny face, but you guys get my funny face for a while.
Hey.
Hey.
But yeah, those were a little more intense because those are like people like picketing hardcore. So
and we were also in like absolute dress up attire. Like we were going to a fancy ball, and then there were people outside like screaming murderers. It was a very odd situation.
Oh, in Florida got wild. I remember I didn't think of it at the time, but when my daughter was a baby, and I went to a pediatrician that I now know is a Scientologist pediatrician, which I should have known.
Oh my God.
My mom was like, "She's who delivered you as a kid," and I was like, "Okay, well, whatever. She's on the insurance list, so we'll go."
Yeah.
And there's people picketing against like anti-abortion people, and I remember being like, "This is just a pediatrician," but I didn't realize she was linked to Scientology. So like now it all makes sense. But I didn't go to her because she was not really great. She did do vaccines, which was surprising, but
I'm gonna close out of here real quick. Will you talk to them about that?
Yeah,
like your experience with that? Because that is really important.
Wild.
Honestly, the vaccine and the fact that we just use our own doctors. Like we just don't use we use medical people who subscribe to LRH. I think that's important.
Yeah. Who definitely.
Yeah. I'm gonna restart this. I'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So yeah, it was very interesting to see this because I remember bringing my little baby, my little daughter in just for her wellness checkups and like her shots and stuff. And people would be out there picketing, and I'd be like, "Why are you picketing at a pediatrician's office? Like, I don't even think they do those things here. Like either way." But it was I think it was a really religious group that was not into the forced, which you shouldn't be forced to have that anyway. But yeah, they would be there, and I only went there a handful of times because their person who worked inside was never good and didn't know how to build stuff, and so we always had to make sure that they submitted something the right way. It was not the most ideal, but I do remember going there and thinking that was like kind of strange that she was like not good at even billing. Like, don't you want to get paid for your job? You did it. So very interesting stuff living in Florida for a bit. I was there for a while because I moved in like 2002. Hey. And then I left there 2009. So I was there about 7 years, and I left for a period of time in between there too. So, but it very interesting because people were obviously catching on to certain stories about Scientology doing certain things. So, you never know what one story might spark a memory or an interest in somebody who's listening or watching. So we have chosen to show up, and we've been having so much fun being harassed since
it's like so much fun. I can't recommend it enough. But the truth is, if you have a support team around you, like both of us do, of incredible people who we've met here, who we have in our real lives, who we have already had in our real lives, who have been our rocks, our allies. Your husband, Elysia, has always been by your side, and I just love that for you because it's like so important.
It's hard.
Somebody you can laugh with, and your husband cracks me up, and he gets us, and he puts the songs we like to our vibe, and to me, that's like, really, really
knowing
priceless.
Us for who we are, right? Not how we were raised. Like, what can we do? What can we be for someone to appreciate us? I know, I will say, love is like the perfect antidote to, kind of balance out growing up in such a strange way.
Well, I think
Um,
that's why I'm addicted
you
to
know?
fostering dogs who need love. Like
Well,
you
yes,
do.
same. I was gonna say, because I think, like, when I look at it in that perspective, I'm always
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'll take in a sick animal. Why
Well, but you
wouldn't I?
have a very special penchant for feral ass cats.
I
Like the
do like the
more feral the
ferals.
better. And I'm
I
I'm
do
not
like
trying to psychoanalyze you or anything,
them.
but some things are just obvious.
Some things are obvious. I'm the feral who wanted to be loved, and now I'm loving the ferals. I did once have a mama feral cat named after me, and I take pride in that because my friend who is animal control was like, "This bitch is crazy. I'm gonna name her after you." And it was funny because I was like, "Do it." But she was really cute. She was a little Siamese mix, so cute. And she wasn't feral, by the way.
Yeah.
I debunked that because I went in and I held her and I was like, "Hey, is this the one that you said is feral? She's in my hands right now, by the way." And then I did foster her, so it was great because it was like
Yeah.
she lived with me and we had the same name, and so
My
it was
rescue
good.
partner always tries to call me Foster Mama Supreme. He's like, I'm gonna put that on your business cards. And
Oh,
it's
that's
really hard to
good.
believe. It's hard to
Yeah.
hear those things about yourself. You're like, sure, you're just lying. Like, no, but I mean, I'm
No,
dedicated. I'm the one,
most
I'm the
people
mentor,
don't.
but I
Yeah,
still don't believe it, right? Like,
yeah, yeah. Well, because you're just doing it because that's who you are at core. You're loving, you're caring, you're compassionate, and you give love
yeah.
endlessly. And see, that's the thing that I think is hard for people that are like, why would you foster? Isn't that hard? And to me and you, were like, well, why wouldn't we? Like, they need love, they need safety. And I'm always like, have they been fed? Are their needs met? And the shelter people are always like laughing at me. And they're like, let me guess, you want the one that's all busted up and sick? And I'm like, yeah, give me the one that no one will take, because no one will take some of them because they're too sickly. Or I mean, I've taken animals knowing that they were going to not make it, and I am okay with letting them peacefully pass away in my house. Though my husband was like, I don't know if this is great to have so many animals pass. Like, when you
We
take
call it
animals that are sick,
fospice. We call
hospice,
it
exactly.
fospice, yeah.
So it's fostering and hospice combined. But
Elvis
you
was
know,
started as my hospice, and then
yeah, he's defying the
we
odds
treated him with medicine, good food,
and
good
love.
rest, and love.
Mhm.
And he actually is to the point where he is undetectable with his cancer because
That's
he
so
feels safe
amazing.
and calm.
Hmm,
And he is eating good
that's good.
nutrition. He's not on the streets. He's not fight or flight all day, every day.
Right,
That is
his
a
whole
recipe for
muscles and nervous
cancer.
system,
Yeah,
yeah, are
I've
not
done
just
all these
riddled with
courses on the
fear.
psych of stress, but not only the psych of stress, the
Mhm.
physiology of stress. So when I say
It's so
stress
bad
is
for our bodies.
making us
So
sick, it
bad.
is everything. It's this culture. It's the way
Mhm.
that we organize our lives is the only power we have over it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
literally, the choices we make is the
Yeah.
only power we have. But I think that that's why people end up in Scientology, because they can literally say, just make
Mhm.
a postulate, and then they don't really have to do anything. Like a postulate
True.
would be a,
Like a thought,
a
like a good
decision.
thought, right?
Yeah, yeah. But then sometimes when it's so important to do that, but but then you have to
Mhm.
follow through. Like you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
to also then,
Have
if you want to say
actions with
like,
the thoughts that
yeah, like
meet,
I
you
want to
know?
be a doctor. To say
Mhm.
that takes so much, and I did
Mhm.
not say that for so long, right? The only other person I met who would say that was Amy, and Amy
Mm.
passed. It's so sad,
Mm.
but it
Yeah.
takes that gall. And like,
Yeah.
maybe I could be that. And I had a professor tell me that, be like, no, you need more than you need more than this community college thing. You need a professional degree. And what I mean is a PhD, or you need to be an attorney. And it was really like, I
And that's
believed him.
empowering.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I really like sought this person out as my professor. I was like, you are so smart. I want to pick your brain about everything because you are
Yeah.
brilliant. And then to have
Mhm.
him be like, come by in my office. And I come in and he makes a funny joke. He's like, I don't even know which one it is. See how often you come visit me? Like, it's like that fun relationship where there's
Yeah.
mentors out there who are not parents, right? There are not,
Mhm.
they don't have to be lovers. They don't have to be even
Not
in
even
life
friends.
friends. If
Yeah,
you
it could
can
be
keep
acquaintances.
if you can keep your own boundaries, like, okay, like today, this is what Vanessa needs to do. This is what Alicia needs to do. We have families, we have partners, we have dogs, we have cats, we have all these things that are flying in the air to keep us like
Mhm.
cool. But I have to get my 20 minutes of peer support. I have
Yeah.
to talk to Liz. I have to
Mhm.
talk to you. I have to talk to
Mhm.
someone who's been through it so that
Mm-hmm.
that's structured into my day, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
but then also I want to be there for everybody who needs something. And you and I
Right.
have also been the guy who shows up when someone is really ill and takes care of them at the end. I know you did that like
Mm-hmm.
multiple times. And
Mm-hmm.
you and I are that kind of person, right? And I've done
Yeah.
that with my family
Yeah.
members. I've been traveling a lot
Mm-hmm.
lately, and I've seen a family
Mm-hmm.
member who I did that with personally. And
Yeah.
it's heartbreaking, right? But
Yeah.
those are their choices. It is
And we're just
chemical,
supporting, right?
right?
Mm-hmm.
After you've been abused, sometimes it's like my rescue partner says, like the dogs that are big and bite, like, I'm so sorry, we cannot take them. And I'm like, but can we? And I've had to learn, no, we
Please.
cannot. I cannot let my Elvis be hurt,
Right.
right? I cannot, like, I have to be like, Stella
That's too
is
much.
my
It's too
my
much of a
thing. Like,
risk.
I just
And yeah.
want to help that dog. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot, right? So it's like
Mm-hmm.
the hardest thing for me has been driving by those dogs on the street
Mm-hmm.
that need help. I always pull over for a dog that needs help.
I know.
And if
Do
you
you travel
remember?
with treats and a
Wait,
leash?
do you remember? I don't know. I think we were on the phone and I was like, yo, I'm driving Elvis to his appointment and I'm
Mm-hmm.
late
Mm-hmm.
right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a dog and I don't know
It
what
was.
to do. I was
Yep.
like
You
exploding.
posted about it. You posted about it, and somebody got the dog. Because remember, you were talking to me. You're like, talk me
On
off
the
this ledge. I
Facebook,
can't.
right? On the
Yes.
local? Yeah.
Yes. You're like, talk me off this ledge. I'm late. I can't do it. I'm like, then don't do it. Don't stop.
Remember?
Don't feel bad.
I
Post
mean,
it. And you
this
did.
is wild. This is exactly what we're talking about. So, like, we can
Mhm.
have literally $0 in our bank account and be like, I gotta get this dog. And it's honestly not healthy. Like, it's a dog. And most people in America are like, sit, dog. That's a bad dog. Don't bother me, dog. And I kind of respect
Mhm.
that, but I also don't at all. That means that they
Yeah.
don't have a lot of empathy or like
I would
ability
say
to put
that,
yourself in
yeah,
other
in
people's
their
shoes.
position. Mhm.
Yeah, right?
I
Like,
agree. I agree. And I think that's something that a lot of us have learned to do since
yeah.
we maybe were in an environment in which that wasn't cultivated and it wasn't always there. I think a lot of us, I mean, if you think about it, and if you watch videos and listen to stuff from many people, most
Yeah.
of us are pretty damn compassionate without even realizing that we're kind of combating. It's our act of rebellion, us showing up and loving people who maybe weren't there and able to love us. It's a fucking act
Yeah.
of rebellion.
You know
Liz,
what? It is.
Liz going for her dad when she thought he was not even alive for like 19 years. And not even asking questions, but not asking questions before just jumping in, asking for help and doing it. That's a beautiful thing.
But
Mike
isn't
Brown
it
going
wild
and
that
getting
if
his
we
mom.
did not have this
So wild.
channel, we would
Mhm.
not have been able to provide
I
being
know.
by her side. And had I not
Mhm.
had the patience to do all of the training that I've done to feel confident to
Mhm.
go, to
Yeah.
not have that fear, I wouldn't have
Mhm.
done it, right? It's like literally
Yeah.
just about working on ourselves. That's why with the
Mhm.
peer support, what you and I were mentioning is like, there's other ways too. So if we're running out of
Mhm.
time and we're not taking our own bath that we need to make ourselves feel
Mhm.
okay and whatever,
Right.
there's gonna be times we can't answer the phone for other people, and
Yeah.
it's not gonna be personal. It's gonna be because we want
It's
to so
personal because we
bad.
are taking care of ourselves and we
Because we
can't pour
know
from
that
empty cups.
literally, like, everyone else is gonna fall apart, meaning our dogs, your
Yeah.
kids, your husband, right? Like, it's all
Mhm.
not gonna work if we just don't do
Yeah.
this one thing.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
what I do think is so cool is that it doesn't have to be all talking. It could be action. And
Actions are probably more important even, you know?
Yeah. Well,
Showing
starting an
up, you know?
SPTV channel, doing a story,
Mhm.
creating some kind of art out of your pain,
Right.
helping to, if you want to stay behind the scenes,
Yeah.
organize.
We do a lot of stuff
Help us
behind the scenes that we
organize.
don't talk about. There's a lot of stuff that we will never share on screen because we're asked not to. But even just us having a
Yeah.
channel is a vehicle for people to reach out and for us to be able to help or guide them into a place or person that can help them more if it's something that, you know, we can't take on or we don't have enough knowledge on, whatever it may be. We literally showed up to help people. And isn't it fun being harassed for helping people, Vanessa? Did you not grow
Well,
up as a little girl and think this is my white picket fence of being harassed for
it's
speaking?
honestly like the final layer is really realizing how evil these people are. And
I
it's kind
know.
of shocking because we did not think we were part of that. And it's
Mm.
almost like jokes on us. Like we're out here saying these words, but
Mm-hmm.
really believing that they're going to hurt us or hurt us
Mm-hmm.
emotionally, hurt us physically, hurt.
Yeah.
They're showing up places we are, private
Mm-hmm.
properties. That's extremism. That means that they
Very
really
extreme.
believe something so strongly
You're willing to
that
do
they're gonna,
anything,
yeah,
even
be willing
illegal
to do
acts.
anything. Yeah. And that scares me because we have a contract in this country that you don't violate other people's rights. You can express
Exactly.
your own, but you don't
Yeah.
violate other people's. You don't go
Mm-hmm.
come onto their property. You don't do things like um, take away their peace so that they cannot
Mm-hmm.
function. Right. So
Yeah.
those kinds of things are what they've been doing to people a very, very long time.
For
It's
yeah,
why
for
we're
decades.
in this position. So
Mm-hmm.
literally, Liz making a channel, coming on every day, Serge making a
Mm-hmm.
channel, Liz Gale, speaking up, Christy speaking up, Miriam
So
speaking up,
beautiful.
Victoria speaking up, all of these women and
Lou is
people.
out there speaking up now too with
Lou,
his channel. It's amazing.
incredible.
And all of our
Everything
never-end
Aaron,
friends who have been
everything Aaron does
so
every
freaking
single
supportive.
day has
Oh
helped
my
us
gosh.
so much to
Yeah.
all have a platform now. There's
Yeah.
actual support. There are witnesses here seeing what's going on. We're not
Yeah.
alone anymore, right?
We're
So
not.
any kind of support that people can give, maybe it's not the traditional one. Maybe you don't have to start a YouTube channel. Maybe you just
Mm-hmm.
say, hey, what would I feel like if I was being targeted
Yeah.
for actual offing myself and there was a organization that just really wanted to neutralize an enemy, what would make me feel happy? Would it be like maybe a little piece of chocolate? Like literally dumb
A little
things
dopamine hit,
that
guys. A
people,
little
yeah, do not think
something.
of that we are dealing with. And honestly, using your voice, like just sharing your story of what happened to you. I know that people don't think it's important. It's important. It's really
Mm-hmm.
important because they're busy going after the people who are making a difference. And if there's peer support and
Mm-hmm.
we all show up and we all talk about it, they
Yeah.
cannot stay like this. Like they're just going to run out of
Mm-hmm.
funds. They're going to
I
be
was hoping that they'd
people
run out
who
of
aren't going to
funds. You
work out
think?
for them. Like they're not going to
Yeah.
work for them. They're just, it's already known. Like people already know that they hire these people. They have to already have a certain, reputation to
Okay
even
to go
accept a
low.
job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're okay doing some of the grimy jobs that most people that had any bit of morality and fabric of caring, compassion, and like concern for just human beings,
Yeah.
regardless of differences of opinion or religions or anything.
Yeah.
Just knowing that like some stuff is just not okay no matter what. Like, harassing women for no real reason and harassing victims and harassing people that are brave enough to speak and like the Jane Does from the Masterson case. Oh my gosh, I have so much compassion for everything they've been through, but also on top of just going through that, the harassment that they have endured to share.
I mean, it's one thing to hear about it, honestly.
It's wild.
It's another thing to have to believe. Like
Yeah,
make
it's
yourself
wild.
believe that the people who you would have worked the next billion years for.
I
But it
know.
almost makes perfect sense.
You would have been in
you
their
were there.
homes. You would
You
have
get
been
it.
nannies
Yeah.
or babysitting or working for their whatever or with them. Yeah, it's really wild. And they think that they're doing the right thing. And a lot of them are sheltered from a lot of this stuff that happens. Like they don't know the details of people being harassed and like how much money. Because I'm sure that a lot of Scientologists would not be okay with that. Even if
No, they would not.
If they are not okay with people speaking out, they wouldn't be okay with the extremism of their religion spending this
Well,
amount of
do you
money
remember the
doing
talk
that.
we had about our friend's father who might not be okay with it happening to his own daughter, but somehow
Exactly.
it's happening to
Us and many
our
others.
father's daughters?
Yeah.
And how is that normal?
How do you make sense of that?
Yeah, there's somebody who we know who is a fixer, and they would have a major, 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 major problem with anybody ever saying some things or doing some things
Yeah.
to their child,
Mhm.
to the point where you and I have discussed, should we ask him for help? Because he's a good dad. Right? Like, that's straight it.
Isn't
Bad.
it so wild?
We do not like any actions this person has ever done in the name of Scientology, but we know that they care about their family. And we, by extension,
This
are
is the gray
almost
zone of
family,
humanity,
right?
guys.
Yeah,
This is the
humanity.
nuance.
This is
Like,
the nuance. Like, should we call our friend's father for help, even though we know that that's not a thing? Like, we should maybe be on a total other side.
yeah.
Right? Like,
It's still
kind of
having
wild.
compassion. It's still understanding that as a human, even though they've done really not great things. And this is
Yeah.
something that I've thought of
Really,
for
really
like
bad. Really, really
20
bad.
well, for 25 years,
both-
I was
yeah, we
I wondered because
struggled
I had
with
a
it.
feeling that something was going on, but I didn't know what. And this is part of like our random conversations. You know, it's just like I was like, I've got a really weird question. And she's like, go for it. And I asked her, I'm like, I've just had this weird feeling about someone that you probably know too. And she's like, oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's been written about and da da da. And I'm like,
check out this article. Check out this article.
And I was like,
check out this court.
My
criminal
mind is
record.
like, and I'm like, okay, so I wasn't just overreading something for 20 something years.
Second, who? No, hold on.
I
know who this is because this happened. Hold on. Is because you're being secretive with your name right now. Exit to red. I dated Vanessa for a few months back in 2015. She is a truly wonderful lady and glad she got out of Scientology. Okay, well, I think I know who you are because I think this was your opening line at a party. And I think I said, who are you? And I tried to arouse you and say that wasn't true. So is that who you are? Because I do remember you and you're very nice. And I really appreciate you being here. If this is you, let's do some interviews. If not, let's talk about who the hell you are because I do not know. This is
wild
the world
world
we live
out
in.
here,
We
guys.
speak in codes. We talk like I see you, but I know you can't expose yourself. You have family, you have whatever, right? There were people I saw at the protest. I just had to pretend that I did not know because it would be easier for everybody, and they did the same.
How was that though? Was that painful
Horrible.
or intense or yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun to think that we're out and have a voice and we can just say whatever we want. We just want to go down there and we want to protest until we see the person who we used to love or who was a friend of ours or who was our coworker even, right? And then you realize that they're there in that camp playing a role that you completely understand, right? Like I used to see security go by on the bikes. I used to whatever, but there's a whole other layer when they knew the protest was going to be there, so they had probably gotten a permit to do the shutdown of the street because they did, and they were power washing it. So they were literally power washing it to keep us away from the buildings and security. I was like, what? Don't get wet. They're trying to get us. So being the person who used to watch that from the canteen right there, like on break, right? And be on the canteen, getting my Tiger's Milk bar and come up and sit.
Tiger's Milk bars were actually good.
Straight up. I'm sitting there remembering like I'm watching this from both sides happen, right? It's a lot to like tie together and it's honestly exhausting, but it's not like I'm glad we're doing it. I'm glad that I realized that sometimes the obvious answer is not the answer. And that's what we're really good at, is that nuance and that like slipping the cell phone and the pretending is kind of sometimes what gets through to people. If you can just like show that you're not a suppressive person. So I left feeling like, how could they I mean, I know that we're wild and funny. Like, honestly, Laura's hilarious.
I do love me some Laura.
Yeah, me too. She's not scary. And when she talked to
she's the loveliest, kindest person, to be honest. She was so sweet.
She's really kind. She
And
just has rage because of what has been
but
done to her, which I do
she's
too.
filled with so much love, and that's the sad part. Like, she has so much love, even like most of us, we maybe didn't get it. Like, I especially feel bad for the kids who were not even able to be raised with their parents, because it's just taking away the bonds that you should normally naturally really have. And that should be your foundation of a human, as a person. You should have a good, stable, solid foundation, and know that you're loved in your family and you're by your parents, the people who made you and brought you into this world without your consent. Like, you should have that love and unconditional support. And I know some of us didn't get it, and some of us got parts and bits of it, right? Yeah. Depending on if we were in or like public or living in base or wherever you were living, and how your parents ranked and what they did for a job and how they interpreted Scientology. I know my mom's rebellion was not really caring as much about Scientology when she had kids, which she got in trouble for, which is so wild. To be in trouble for wanting to be a mom when you have kids is a really strange thing to hear.
I mean, I definitely had to go through a lot of Sea Org recruitment where it was basically like, you don't want to be a mother on this prison planet. Like, that would be mean to your children. Like,
yeah,
it's
like
fine.
A punishment.
Just give it up. Just give it up and clear the planet and just do it. And I mean, I was so signed on the dotted line, but that was because I thought that was the right thing to do as a child. They make us really like intense fighters, right? But I've thought about that too, how a lot of people get really messed up about, because those are basic human urges, right? So if you're taking all these teenagers and making them think that this is a prison planet that needs to be saved, and you can do that by sacrificing your own needs to procreate, to even masturbate.
Get educated,
they can't even
to go to school.
You can't have access to information, but we have to do it to save this planet. And you have to do it. And they're so loyal to a T. And you're like, please don't let that be your guru. Like, let it go and like
be loyal to yourself, right?
Yeah,
be loyal
like
to yourself.
The people who are loyal to
yourself. Yeah.
Like,
and I mean that in the sense that you are able to see for yourself. Is someone really love you, or do they love what they get out of you? That's just in general. I feel like since we grew up in this strange place, I always read and tried to understand stuff. And so I've read a lot about relationships that are very abusive, and whether it's relationships as like familiar or intimate partners, it's very much the same tactics that are used. So if anybody is trying to get you to not be around like people that are important to you, like your family or friends that like they've had for their whole lives, like that's a pretty big red flag.
Love bombing, loaded language, all of the things that cults do. I feel sad that they've taken from us the ability to, I always said this when I was growing up, why did Tara and I go around with 15 of the machoist dudes at all times? Because I wanted to feel safe and I don't trust outsiders, right? So us being tribe, that was always our, me and a friend, I won't even name him. He's very cute, but he's like one of those, a lot of the men who I know now are actually not speaking up at all because they just really want to leave it in the past and they just want to like have relationships with their mom and dads and just like move on. It wasn't that bad, whatever, which is cool.
Water it down. Yeah.
Yeah. But they're
make it acceptable.
Yeah. And I wish they could just have a little bit of backbone, but when backbone is shown, it's really adorable and cool, especially from people who we don't even freaking like, people on YouTube who are like, I'm going to stand up. I'm like, whoa, are you sure? Because they're pretty wild. And my own besties like run and they're like, nope, I'll be there. So that's the thing that trips me up. Like, they took that from us in the regard to just have healthy relationships that are not going to be disappointing, because our brain works through conditioning and like reward systems and stuff. So if we're so used to letting people in, and then they're just gonna be that guy who's like, well, saving the planet is more important.
It's always more important.
That's your ego.
Yeah.
Like, how I make you feel is currency, because it should just be like, we need,
Mm-hmm.
everybody has
So
to
is
be
this
responsible.
transactional? Is this just, yeah, exactly. You're just getting what you need out of me? And that's
Yeah.
exactly why I think it's very easy for us to spot people who genuinely seem caring and loving and
Yeah.
who genuinely don't. And if they don't, I have to say, I just don't even really care to spend the time because why? I don't want to have to
And some
think
people
and
don't know
do
how
gymnastics
to.
mentally.
Some people don't
Yeah.
know how to. So they can be caring and genuine and all of the above. And the way that they think they're helping you can be just
Mm-hmm.
not the way you need the help, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
never ask,
Yeah, you'll
like,
never know.
yeah, I mean, I have so many people that try to give me advice and I really like it and I try to take it in, but it's also like,
But
not
yeah,
that many people are
depends.
like, what do you need right now to feel safe? Like, it
Yeah.
is so noticeable when people can think like that and really
Mm-hmm.
care about like the human being in front of them and not some
Mm-hmm.
bigger picture, their own plan of what's
Yeah.
supposed to happen,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
what you do, E.
It's very good, and that's what you do when you show up for people. And a lot of it is not on camera. Matter of fact, I think like 99% of it is not on camera.
Yeah.
There's so many things that we won't discuss on camera
Yeah.
for other people's safety. I mean, our safety is kind of out of the window, right, Vanessa?
Oh, 100%. I mean, no, we're safe. We're safe. We got good people who love us. We have
Right.
teams of protectors everywhere we go. I have built and curated people who love me, thankfully, because I chose to make my life cohesive at one point. I said no more jumping between worlds, and that was my
Mm-hmm.
choice. Like, I didn't choose to disconnect, they did. But I could not keep acting
Mm-hmm. You don't
for
want to
other
put on the
people.
show.
I
Yeah,
couldn't do it. And it's
that's true.
kind of just a choice I made. I'm going to integrate all this. I'm going to stop worrying about what happens when my mom gets together with this person. I'm going to have to control it. I'm going to have to organize it. And
Mm.
this is this. No, it's
So
like
much
I
work.
had to just let go and be like, we'll see what
That's their
happens.
choice. Yeah, it's their choice
Yeah.
what
And
they
I can
do.
only do my choices. Right. And that's been
Mm-hmm.
so hard.
We're only responsible for ourselves, and it is hard because we do want to help people that are in because we know that they're not bad people. They're in a
Yeah.
bad situation. They're in a bad organization, and they don't realize it. It's very similar as if you had a really good friend in an abusive relationship. You see it, and maybe other people see it, but the person in doesn't see it because it's not bad all the time, right?
Yeah. And you
They
can't
have
say
a
the
bad
wrong
day
thing
or
to
a bad
then
week
they might not talk to you anymore if you judge
ever
them or
again.
something.
Yeah.
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 It's just
It's a very loaded place to be because wanting to help is the first bit of it, but can you effectively help? And sometimes helping means not saying anything and being quiet, and it's hard. I think, especially for people that are more sensitive to people being harmed or mistreated, like we probably are, whether it's a person or an animal, right?
yeah.
We've become advocates. I started mainly with animals. I mean, I was always not cool with people being mean to other people. And
Yeah.
some of my mom's favorite memories are of me being kind of a little shit, to be honest, because when I was in elementary school, I was in like first grade, maybe second grade at the most. There's a kid that was not nice to someone that I loved, a family member, and I would hear about him being picked on all the time. And one day after school, we would walk home together, and I saw this kid being mean to my brother. And I don't know, I think I said something, but I just kicked him straight in the crotch, hard. Like I just let him have it. And my mom was like, "Why would you do that? Like, why would that be your first thought?" She was really kind of oddly impressed that I was knowing how to hurt somebody but not hurt myself, but like handle something so easily. And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Mom, like we live in a jungle. Like, how do you not see that? Like it's survival." And
Yeah.
so I had to do that. And the kid never picked on the person that I loved again.
And
And
you
so that was
gained
like
approval from your mom. I wonder what that taught
it
you.
was so weird. Well, she didn't know that story until I was an adult because I thought I would be in trouble. So I didn't tell her until I was much older. And she was like, oh my gosh. But it was funny because it's just like, well, what would you do? Sit there and
Yeah.
watch it happen? And
And
the
when your
sign's
brother
different. I
showed
wouldn't be
up,
able to do anything. I was like, I'm gonna kick him in the like that was my first thought. Like, let's just, you know,
yeah. And then
such a
when your
sweet
brother
kid.
showed up at my school, I felt
Hmm.
the same way towards him
Yeah.
because he was a
Because
little
I'm
bit
very
shorter.
yeah,
And he
yeah.
was like, an adorable, but that's what we do.
Yeah.
We're sisters, and we're like,
Yeah.
He's here. Hey, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
I got you. You need anything, you talk to me. I'm up here. I'm upstairs in the
Yeah, I'm
higher
upstairs.
classes.
I'm with the big
Like,
glasses, right?
like E's walking around with a
this is
baby
Delphi
that's not
days.
hers. So if you need me, I'll be upstairs. I'm a normal kid. I could talk to, quote unquote
Normal.
at our
We're all normal.
CULT campus of schools.
I'm telling
But
you.
I was more normal than you
Then
were
yeah.
at the moment.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Yeah.
walking around babysitting a
No.
baby that wasn't mine
I
and going
know.
through multiple abuses that I know it's hard to hear that, but like not getting an education is super abusive, and that's never going to be okay to me.
I know.
That I
Isn't
had
that
to
wild?
see you working as a caregiver while I got classes. And
Education.
they were not real
Yeah.
great
Not great.
classes.
But it was something.
They were curated with information from the 60s. But that being said, it was something.
It was something. You were at least somewhere from early morning.
Enough in my head to get a GED.
Which is actually a really important thing because a lot of us don't get a GED. That was another act of rebellion, was for me to do and to complete high school because it was hard.
Yeah.
So
let's remind everybody, we have a bunch of people watching, so we want to hit the like. It does add to the algorithm things. And then also when we end, if you could come back and do some comments, that would be
yes,
awesome.
It takes a while for the live comments to like trickle over.
Well, for the chat it does, but for the comments,
that's true. The comments,
there's another, if
you can comment
the video
on the video
ends
itself.
and then you go and comment, it'll like pull it up for us and get it out to people who might benefit from this conversation and maybe not feel so alone if they're not able to speak up about Scientology yet, and just like
just know that there's a world of safety. I mean, I say that like, you'll probably get harassed to get them out, but there's a lot of people that will laugh with you.
Yeah,
we'll laugh with you. I can make a
we
joke
will laugh
just
with
about
you.
anything. We will joke and degrade with you. We will send you dumb memes. I'll send you dumb memes, guys.
She loves the memes and she's good at it.
I'm good at the memes, guys.
If
I don't
you've not seen our stories on Degraded Daughters on Instagram, he kills it. She likes to do the dark humor. I have so I don't think that was that person. By the way, this is bothering me. I don't even know who that was from 2015. We're going to be going through my phone. But because I do not date a lot. I don't. So that's
which is the funny thing.
It could only be a couple.
Yeah, and it's funny because how many times are we were we punished in a sense for being 2D as kids when nothing was going on at all? Like that was just such a common thing, and it's always against the woman or the girl. It was not really ever
for
used
2D
against
flowing
boys, right? I mean, I was in trouble for having breasts, and they're not impressive, guys. Like they're there, whatever, but like you'd think they're just like, I don't know, Pamela Anderson style or something, like the way that they make such a big deal about stuff. It's
totally
so strange.
No, you could just develop a chest, and they're like, "Excuse me, ma'am, stop 2D flowing. You're really messing with the guys here." And you're like, "Excuse me, I was making him a sandwich," and they're like, "Yeah, go to."
We know what your intentions were.
Things that shouldn't be. Something. You're distracting a Sea Org member because you have breasts.
It's the irony. It's like, and how degraded were we to pick to be women too? You wanted to pick.
My mom postulated that. She said, "I want a little
too.
Scientology baby girl born at home."
Me too.
You too?
And look, I was wanted as a female
because we were both, the end after 2 boys, huh?
I'm the second. Oh, you're after 2 boys.
Oh, you're the older.
I'm the second oldest of 4. So
I'm the baby.
Yeah. So it's so wild, and it's so obvious. It's obvious.
Is absolutely true. The 2D is such a cruddy mind F in the Sea Org.
Totally.
Yes. And I cannot wait to do our live with you. I'm going to be doing a live with my dear friend here sometime soon.
Sweet.
They thought you were a boy, Liz. Tell us more about that, please.
Is that like before you were born? Like they were like, were they postulating a boy?
I don't know what she means by that. I want to hear. That would be interesting. Maybe they were postulating a boy.
Don't you think it's so strange how Scientology parents talk? Like when they're pregnant or wanting to become
like
it's so cringe.
so arrogant.
It's
like
so
I'm
and
just
it's so
creating
weird.
this perfect little
This
angel in my
being
head.
I want the best thing there is in the market. So if you could move out of my way so I can get all my ODubs off and I can be having a clean slate to make a great baby and be drug free and silent birth and like what?
My name was going to be Christopher Jonathan. Wow. Okay. So here's the deal. What, like, it's all fun and games until you want to be your own person, right? Like, you should only have children if you decide that you're going to be there for them no matter who they are, right? Like, you support and empower who is this child? What's going to make them feel the best? What's going to make them feel loved? What's going to make them not have to be on my agenda? You know, like there's real world stuff. Like maybe they might have to go to college so they can get a job and not sound silly. But what's going to really help this individual? And that is something that is completely lost when you start saying things like, I want a little girl who's this. Oh, and the little girl also came to me and talked to me before she was born. She told me she was super theta and she was going to be taking this body. Yeah, we all did. Yeah, like you and I have this similar.
We have stories. We have very intense stories.
I mean, but to have it be like
tell them, Vanessa, tell them what your parents told you, right?
Your perfect creation, and then you literally. So when I walked in with a tattoo for the first time, my mother broke down and like sobbing because I had ruined
your body
canvas, right? So I have a thing about people telling me that like the way I am with you, the way you make me feel, these things, which are totally normal, like in a real world. But then when we talk about how our parents used us for their own goal, they just wanted us to be good Scientology kids. They just wanted us to be born a girl. They just wanted us to be like, no matter whatever it is, honestly, like I am probably the most feminine woman you'll meet. She probably was right on the money. Maybe she did some spell and it worked. But I swear to you, I can understand what happens if you're not. Because, or like if you're, like Liz said, they were told I was a boy, then suddenly I was here and I was a girl. So that's like the first day of your life. Yeah. Like there's different expectations, right? What if it's like you were born a Muslim or you were born a Hare Krishna or you were born... Everybody has these expectations based on your culture, you know? So it's just like, whoa, let's just make sure that the people having the kids are the ones who are wanting to be there for the kids, not the actual... For the right reasons. Yeah, not for their ego. Instead of projecting what their wants are. I mean, I don't know about you, Vanessa, but I totally talked to my mom before I was born. What did you say? Tell me, please. I want to hear it. I told her what my name was. And I told her how to spell it because I wanted it spelled specifically this way so that I could never buy a keychain or have anything customized. It's all on me, boo. It's all on me. Yes. I was like Elysian. It was supposed to be like Elysian waters, and I showed my mom these healing waters. So maybe that's why I like to take baths all the time. Totally makes sense, right? Like she knew what she talked about. I mean, what if she was just confirming her idea about her own? Would that be an idea? Yeah, totally. You showed me these Elysian springs. It is beautiful. I took her as a Satan that's not born yet. I took her and showed her this stuff. And I was also past life OT, honestly, like, you are very powerful. Like I believe that you would do that. I'm not even. Totally. It's totally just really powerful. It's hard to believe that. To indulge. Yeah. Some of it's not as harmful, like to your core, but it is a little out there. So when you hear these stories, the concept, like I did work with Pet Psychic, who was a Scientologist, who was then like guiding me to just like instruct my pet's Thetan to pick up a body. Like a human Scientologist, correct. So this is how these things get pushed out into no longer making sense. It will make you delusional when you're talking about because you're like instructing folks to go pick up. Yeah, like you just can't. Oh my gosh! Did you see the live that Aaron and Reese did? And they were going over a Facebook like parent group, and someone it's so cringe but funny. Watch it. This girl was asking for a friend because their mom was in the middle of
passing away, and they said she wants to get a new family. She's looking for a good Scientologist family right now for her next, like for her thing to go into and jump into this new baby body. So if there's anybody out there that's a good Scientology family, she doesn't want to be the only kid. She wants to be a female. Like, so wild that this is how our parents and Scientologists really do think, and they communicate like this. This is on Facebook. You're putting this on Facebook?
No, it's my entire
So wild.
life. I mean, I don't until I decided to talk on YouTube. I mean, I swear to you, there's still Facebook feeds I see like this that are because they don't know I'm an SP. I swear to you, it's just
so wild,
like, absolutely bizarre. You guys, we've been talking for an hour and 20 minutes. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I'm
gonna put this up because this is kind of funny.
It is funny.
Blow Drill says, I spent a year stressing about going out to do heavy petting. How far was too far? So we lied about our age, which was totally acceptable to get married. I know. That's the weird stuff about this. There's acceptable lies that they're okay with you saying and doing.
Yeah.
What? Yeah. What? Like, it's so
not only
weird.
that, but like, why would any church be able to say what you can do with another human being sexually? That's not okay, period.
Yeah.
So heavy petting, not heavy petting, doesn't matter.
Yes, my eyes are green. Someone asked. My eyes are green, yes. Probably I picked that too. Don't you know? We pick every bit of our body. There's no such thing as genetics. What's that?
What's that? What's brain chemicals?
What's that? Who knows
There's
about
no
these
such
things?
thing. A brain is just a computer.
Just turn it off and on, guys. That's all you do.
Just like
what?
Exteriorize.
This is funny. My dad claims that I told him my name on the day of my birth, and I swam in a clawfoot tub.
I mean, that's really cute, though. I love the clawfoot tub.
I was gonna say, it's a nice kind of fancy.
It's a nice detail.
A little fancy. So are we just indulging ourselves that we're like these fancy people? Like, are our parents trying to over fancy us, Like, we're just such strong beings. I don't know about you, Vanessa. You're a strong being.
Yeah.
Just strong, so powerful.
That's what hurts when you leave, is like every bit of approval and everything you thought was cool about you is no longer cool. Like, it's just suppressive. Like, it's gone terribly wrong. There is a very big error on her processing. Her computer is broken. She is now suppressive.
We are the DBs, mister.
We are the DBs, mister. Speaking of we are the DBs, mister, you ready for that freaking cute ass outro?
Yes, I am. I certainly am.
I want to say, honestly, Cedar, Cornelius, Zenu's homegirl. I saw Liz Ferris, Alex, Marilyn. Like, I saw Tommy from the Lifeboat up here earlier. I see all these people in here who are actually really, really incredible and who are here listening and like talking to us, putting things in the chat, and just being with us. And we want to say thank you. And we really appreciate it. Your support is truly why we're here. And I'm going to be setting up Elvis later over on my channel, The Gray Zone. It has been in the comments in the chat this whole time. My very sweet friends like Marilyn have been putting it up. Also, Liz and Poe and the Go have a 12 o'clock live stream coming up. And I just wanted to give a little shout out to that.
Sweet.
So you guys.
I'll be doing something tomorrow. It'll be fun.
What are you doing?
I think it's a secret still. It'll be with somebody else. It'll be really fun. We're going to be talking about
right here on the DGG. Degraded Daughters of Dianetics.
If you want to come get degraded with us, we're going to talk about Mojave.
Come joke and degrade a little bit.
Just a little bit. It takes the edge off.
It sure does. So do dogs.
Dogs and cats and ferals. Oh my. Thanks for hanging with us, guys.
Yeah.
This was
love
so much
you
fun.
Guys. Bye.
You girls watch out for those DBs.
We are the DBs, mister.